that around the world there are two different approaches to IVF or regulation in the reproductive world. One is the British approach, like you have the HFEA that regulates IVF treatments and human reproduction, and it's a restrictive approach. So if you want to do A, you need a license for A. If you want to do B, you need a license for that. If you have C, that is a gray area, you need to go through an approval process. The other approach, which is the American approach, is a good example. There are very clear limits on what you can do and what you cannot do. And as long as you move within this area, then you're pretty much okay. Mexico follows the American approach. And that, I believe, that is optimal because the technology and the advances in the IVF world happen very, very quick. Sometimes there is just no time to, we're talking about, let's say, a couple where she is 42 years old. We don't have 3 years to undergo through a thorough approval process. So there is scientific evidence supporting that this could help. There is, of course, a risk-benefit assessment, and we do it. One example is genetic testing for embryos. Another example is vitrification for eggs. So evidence is there, and then you make a decision. And of course, there are bodies that generate guidelines like the Mexican and American Society for Reproductive Medicine. About religion, I believe that probably my parents' generation were the last very religious generation. I believe that nowadays in Mexico, we are more of a Catholic culture rather than a Catholic practicing society. Of course, there will always be negative associations of assisted reproduction and religion, whether it's the Catholic Church or the Anglican Church. I have a friend, the one that invented the vitrification, which is the most reliable method to freeze eggs. It's a Japanese guy, Masashige Uwayama. And I was traveling in Japan with him, and we were in Kyoto. There was one temple called the 1001 Hand Buddha Temple. And he was explaining me that for Japanese culture, the number 2001 means infinite. This means the Buddha that has infinite hands. And when you see the main sculpture of the Buddha with many, many hands, you see an agriculture, then you see, say, a doctor, you see different people in their hands. Their belief is that Buddha has an infinite number of hands to catch you when you're falling and to help you. So I believe that this is pretty much what we are. We are one hand to help someone else. So we're not like God. If God wanted to, this wouldn't exist. And I believe that the Mexican society is opening more and more. Everyone will have an opinion about what you're doing, about fertility treatments, freezing eggs. Everyone, in good faith or not, but everyone will have an opinion. This is your project. And it's very easy to give an opinion when you are not immersed in the problem, when you're not living the problem. And of course, as you can guess, we've had many, many patients from extreme right religious families who have criticized friends for undergoing fertility treatments. And at the end, when they face a problem and they see before me, like, okay, so what are you afraid about? What are your fears? You have problems with embryo freezing? We don't have to freeze embryos if you don't want to. We can freeze eggs. So it's important, this communication, so we develop a plan to reach your goals. So nowadays, I think, again, that is not an issue anymore. Well, average age for patients is 40 years. So I think that that gives you a rough idea on how things are changing. I think that this social and family pressure is one of the things that put more emotional stress to the patients. Because okay, it's like all my friends are having babies. My younger sister now is pregnant, and my parents keep asking me every other week when am I going to have children. We still have couples that when they come to the office is like, no, I'm not spending Christmas with your family. Why? Because I'm fed up of their questions. So expectations about you getting pregnant under 30 still have reality. Even if you are pursuing and you are en route of a successful professional or academic career, it's like, really, is that going to make you happy? Things are changing, but we're still, even if we don't like it, I think that in certain sectors of society, we're still a very macho culture.